restored is all about healing. And healing is a process, right? Sometimes we don't even realize that we haven't healed from something until it triggers it.
The recalibrated woman, she is transforming, she is reclaiming, she is empowered.
Hey ladies, welcome to Recalibrated Conversations. My name is Shanell McNair-Kalu, and I am the founder of the Recalibrated Woman, right? So, these conversations that we're going to have are going to be real, raw, unfiltered, and just who we are. I'm going to have conversations about faith, identity, about recalibrating ourselves to be all that God has called us to be. And in this space is curated for the woman who says that I can't continue walking through life being misaligned, but I have to align myself so that I can be my best possible self and be all that God has called me to be. And so during this season, though, we'll be talking about the word restored. I'm looking to have maybe 2 episodes drop every month. Let's be honest. We're busy. We're working, and we're living our lives. So we want to make sure that we get them out there. But I'm glad that you joined us today. Go share this with a friend, with a loved one, with a sister who wants to be recalibrated. All right. So let me be honest. Sitting at this place in front of this camera, it's very uncomfortable for me. Let's just keep it real. It's something that I really never wanted to do, but I did it anyway because I knew that my voice needed a space and that God had created a space for my voice. And so here we are. So if I say some words that are not right, if I say some things that don't make sense, listen, it's all good because God never called us to be perfect. He called us to be positioned. So what is the recalibrated woman? The recalibrated woman, it is a organization or a group of women who have decided that I cannot stay how I've always been, but I have to learn to adjust in life because whether you know it or not, everything around you at some point has to be recalibrated so that it can function optimally. And if we continue to allow ourselves to stay in the same state, we'll never grow, we'll never mature, and we'll never go beyond what box we have put ourselves in. So Recalibrated Woman was birthed in me back in 2023 when I hosted the first conference. And during that time, we had women come and gathering from all over the state of South Carolina, where we just had a moment to pause, to release, and just be refreshed and enjoy like-mindedness in the company of our sisters. And from there, we have continued on to different conferences. My desire is to start a scholarship fund. I want to be able to help our teen girls who are going to college and provide them with some money. Because listen, when you don't have any money and you're in college, they say people do things for a little bit of change. And we want our girls to be empowered so that they don't have to do anything for a little bit of change. So if we can help them in any way. Also, the Recalibrated Woman is more than just a conference. It's a sisterhood where we come and we talk about grief. We talk about finances. We talk about faith, motherhood, marriage, divorce. We talk about healing, all types of things so that we can all grow together because what's better than having someone that you can grow with? We host an annual conference every year in April. This year, our conference theme is Restored, April the 16th through the 19th. Shameless plug. Get your tickets today at therecalibratedwoman.org. But we host the annual conference as well as pop-ups, and we also do some things online just to kind of encourage the women so that we can continue to grow and be recalibrated. I think many of times as women, we want to be so perfect. We want to have every I dotted, every T crossed. But the Father has never called us to be perfect. He just wants us to be positioned. And many of times we lose our position.
So I got a question.
Okay.
What was the moment you realized perfection in it, like it was just position?
The moment I realized that perfection wasn't it, to be honest, it just happened back in 2023, honestly. I had taken on the role of senior leader, senior pastor at my local congregation. Now, hold on, because some of y'all gonna be like, wait a minute, you just took on the role. The Lord had already called me and positioned me, and He had spoken to me about this. So this wasn't no just fly by night type of thing. Yeah, I want to be a pastor, baby. Let me tell you, if that's your desire, and the Lord hadn't called you, you really may need to go sit on somebody's couch and talk to them because when you walk this walk, you gonna walk this walk. But that moment, I think in my mind, I was trying to be everything that everybody wanted me to be. And it was exhausting. It was overwhelming. It was all consuming. Like I felt that I didn't have time for anything else. I couldn't be emotional. I couldn't be real. I couldn't be who I was. I was just in this space where I was trying to fit the mold of what I thought a pastor would be.
So now that you've kind of been experiencing restoration, like from being perfected to just being positioned, like how do you plan to help other women experience restoration and just be okay with being imperfect but being positioned? Like what's your strategy? What's your how?
What's my how? So first, my how is helping them to identify who they are. Um, we know who society wants us to be. We know what roles we fit in, but who are we really outside of those titles, outside of those roles? Because you can't be positioned until you know where your position is. So if I don't understand who I am and who God has called me to be, then I'll never be positioned in that place. So it's looking like pulling back those layers and doing a deep dive within yourself through the leading of the Holy Spirit. Like, Father, what have you called me to be? Like I said, I had a complex about the word ask, right? Like there was somebody told me, oh, you don't say that word right. So I never used that word for years. I would use the word inquire, or I would try to go around it without using it because I had allowed my mind to be morphed in what someone called me to be. Yes, I got a little country twang, okay? And it's not perfect, but I learned that if I give God my heart, if I position myself, He'll put his super on my natural. Like Moses. Moses, he stuttered. But the Lord was like, if you just open your mouth and do what I told you. So my thing is just trying to help women really peel back those layers and find out who and what God has called them to be.
So with restoration, there's a period of grief, right?
Mhm.
Ha- Has there ever been a time in your life where you've like navigated grief? If so, how did you do it? Like, how did you bounce back to be able to not only you get to the finish line, but help everyone else around you get to the finish line? Because you did say you was a pastor, you're a mom, a wife. You wear so many hats, and I'm pretty sure you grieve different things, more often than one will recognize. So, how do you help others, get through that grieving season?
So with being restored, it's all about healing. And healing is a process, right? Sometimes we don't even realize that we haven't healed from something until it triggers us.
Mhm.
And you didn't realize that that was still there because we have been prone to just um, push things aside and suppress them. And so with grief, I had to learn. I lost my mother. That was my girl, y'all. Sheila Belton McNair, my God, a powerful, mighty woman of God, a true warrior. Um, when you're young, your parents tell you, I'm not one of your little friends. But I had the joy and the pleasure of my mother being my friend when I got older, okay? And I was growing in our house, okay? And she was indeed a true friend. And I lost her. And in the midst of me losing her, I was trying my best to hold myself together and upholding others around me. Not that anyone put that burden on me. I think I put that burden on myself to be responsible for everybody else's healing. And so I had to sit and settle with this thought that it was okay for me not to be okay. And then I had to realize that it was okay for me to be okay. What do I mean? So it was okay for me to feel the emotions because one, God gave them to us. And if we read throughout the Bible, we see that people had emotional experiences. But it's all about having self control and not allowing those emotions to overtake you. For instance, Lazarus in the Bible, right? Jesus wept. He wept. But Jesus didn't get all out of character and all out of control. He went through a season of weeping. We think about Naomi and Ruth. You know, Naomi told Ruth to go back, and Ruth was like, "No, Naomi, I'm gonna stick with you." And Naomi was like, "Why? I don't have another son that I can give you." If you read that passage right there, you can hear the pain in her voice, the loss in her voice, the grief in what she was saying. I'm not worthy for you to want to follow me. I'm empty. I'm barren. Everything that I have has gone. She was angry because she had lost so much. And I realized that a part of my healing from that grief was that I had to understand that there was a loss, but in the same time, there was a God that can fill that void. Not that I didn't miss my mom, because God knows still today. I mean, I'll sit and I'll think sometimes and a tear will come up. Or I'll really get into a moment. And that's okay. I think that people feel that when you're healed from grief, that you never feel that pain again. It's not that you don't feel that pain. You know how to use that and how to move forward in it. Not that I'm forgetting, not that I'm suppressing, not that I'm saying that I'm not hurting. Yes, those feelings are real, but I don't soak in it. I don't stay there. Um, I allow my heart to be restored. And my mom, if my mom had a choice, let's be real, she would have said, I'd rather be with my father. Not that she didn't love us, not that she didn't want to be around us, but she lived her life for that. She lived her life to live again. And if I'm here holding on to that pain of that grief or feeling guilty, then I'll never be able to move forward. I'll be stuck. And so I want to be able to help women to walk through grief. I think sometimes as African Americans, if I'm honest, it's supposed to be good. It's supposed to be over, but I had to get help. I had to go and sit with a therapist. Like I did. A blood believing, blood bought Christian who speak in tongues, shout, can preach, can pray. I had to go get help because there were so many things, so many emotions that I had to learn how to cope. Yes, I'm a social worker and I should know coping skills. Okay. But I had to learn how to cope properly.
So who told you just because you are a social worker or, you wear these different hats that you are supposed to know like what to do? And the reason I'm phrasing it like that is because a lot of times we assume. What got you to the place to stop assuming and really to go seek the proper help that you may need? And also I want you to answer this question too. Were you ever angry at God because of what you may have lost?
Okay. I'll unpack the first question. Um, it was self-imposed. I told myself that. You're a social worker. You know coping mechanisms. You know the stages of grief. You know all of this. And I think many of times it's not assumption, it's self-imposed. We put those limitations or those thoughts on ourselves. And not realizing we're just human like everybody else. We feel pain like everybody else feels pain. And so for me, I've saw how others experience grief and it wasn't the best outcome. So I didn't want to go that same route. So I immediately sought counseling. It wasn't a it wasn't an afterthought. I just immediately because one, I knew that I had to learn to grieve well because my children were grieving. They needed me. The church was grieving. They needed me. My husband, my siblings, my father, my family. Not that it was my responsibility to uphold them, but I wanted to be the best version of myself in this season that I could be for them. So I kind of just went to therapy myself. I did that myself. Um, the next question I think you asked me, was I angry at God? I don't want to use the word angry. I was more disappointed, to be real. Because I'm like, God, we prayed for this. Like, we prayed for healing. And then when I go back and I look, when my mom at the end, when I say this woman held on to the end, that, whatever my lot, God, He has taught me to say that it is well with my soul. Um, my mom passed away. Cancer was her diagnosis. Um, she didn't even want to know the stage of cancer she had. And this was back during the pandemic. So we weren't allowed to go into the clinic with her to find out any information. So everything we got was from her. And she was not speaking much. She was only speaking faith. And she would say, God is able to heal me, whether it's here on earth, which is what I want, or whether it's in heaven. He's going to do it. And we held on to that faith as strong as she held on to that faith. And I don't want to say that I was angry, but I was a little disappointed, because I'm like, man, God, for real, you took my mama. It was some, Lord forgive me, but I said it. It's some other people you could have, allowed to, you know what I'm saying, have cancer. That not because God does not take anybody. Death comes when our body can no longer sustain life. We all have an expiration date. And the misconception is that God, that He killed. No. Death comes when the body can no longer sustain life, which is an appointed time for us before we were even born. Now, how it happens sometimes is out of our control. And I believe that was a testing season for my mom, but I also feel that she had fulfilled everything that she was supposed to do here on earth.
So how do you plan to help women begin to fulfill like their calling or their purpose with TRW? Because there's so many components that that's with TRW that people don't know. So how do you plan to help people or women in specific and young girls in specific feel their purpose?
Yes. So let me start with the young girls. I love them. I love them, and they need role models. So, ladies, go. If you're in your local body, you're in a church, or you have your nieces and you have your sisters or cousins or whoever, and I need to do a better job as well as mentoring. But get one of those young ladies, pull them under your wings. Sometimes they just want somebody to talk to. And so I've created spaces for them where last year we did I think it was called I'm That Girl. And we had ladies that came in and spoke to them about relationships, confidence, identity building. My desire is that the Recalibrated Woman will expand to career coaching, helping these young ladies, also helping them make decisions regarding college and, things of that nature and what they see their future as. Because many a times if we don't have a picture of our future, we'll just start doing everything. And I believe that helping them find out who they are, helping them be confident in who they are will help them choose and make better decisions. And so I want to create a space for them. And what that space looks like is having workshops for them, exposing them to different things. Hold on now. I know I use the word expose, but listen, okay? What I mean is letting them go and shadow people in different career fields, maybe doing trips with them, taking them to places that they've never been so they can experience other cultures and things of that nature so that they don't have a one-sided view that the world is just this one way, but broadening their perspective, giving them opportunities. I want to network with people so that I can help girls be placed into different internships and things of that nature. Like, that's my heart. That's the Recalibrated Woman at its core. I don't want us to just have an event. I don't want us to just have it at a conference, but I want us to have practical tools that we could take away that we can apply to our everyday living. For women, I want to do parenting classes because listen, there is no manual for motherhood, okay? And motherhood is the most ghetto hood ever. I'm just teasing. But listen, there's no manual for things like that. So I want to find these people who are experts in these areas and offer these to women. I mean, talking about health. I want to holistic this year. During the conference, we had the restored room, and what it is, we have a lady, Miss Jerry Ann Sheely, shouting you out. She has a farm, and she uses the natural herbs from the earth. And yes, I know when I say herbs, people go, and their spirit get vexed. Let me let you in on something. The Bible says that the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, and all them that dwell therein. We've allowed the world to pervert what God has given us to help heal us. And so she's a believer. She's a Christian. She goes and she studies natural remedies to help our bodies. She has a wonderful testimony. I'm not going to share all that she'll share with you all during the Recalibrated Woman in her room. And I want to have people like that that will help us so that we're not having to take all of these medicines. Now, I know we take it in the name of Jesus, but I also believe that the Lord gives us alternatives through the earth. When we don't have those extra things in our body. I'm struggling with some things in my body with this tippy toe weight. I'm struggling with some areas in my body, but I'm trying to get as close and eat to nature. So having a nutritionist, also bringing in, we did therapists. We had therapists last year. And I still want to be able to offer that. Like I want to create a space that women can go in and be heard and be seen and not feel guilty for helping themselves. Because sometimes we feel selfish for helping ourselves, but when the woman is whole, the family is whole, the children are whole, our communities are whole. So that's the things that I'm looking for to help these women, bringing in experts on their level of comprehension that they can take away everyday tools to use in their lives.
You know, I wish there were more people like you that had like a genuine heart of helping people. You don't really find that uh in today's society, not just from a spiritual standpoint, but also from like a natural standpoint, because I strongly believe those things tie together. But
Yes.
you hinted at something. You said motherhood was ghetto and that there's no manual. Now there's something else that you've been sitting on, marriage no manual. Kind of let's talk about married life for a second, like for the women out there, so they can like hear like what is married life like? Because I feel like our society now has put like a negative stigma to being married. But I'm not gonna lie, like watching you and Pastor Kalu, like it lets me know, like, yo, there are some people out here that are happily married. So let's talk about that for a second.
Yes, y'all. My husband. Oh my God. I love that man so bad. Like, that's my Woo! That's my baby. That's my man, my man, my man. I love that man so bad, y'all. Like, for real. I mean, he taller than me, but baby, if anybody come up against him, I'ma fight for him. Let me tell you. Okay, first I'ma fight in the spirit, but then I'm about to go throw these hands. I really ain't got no hands to throw. But listen,
You keep how you balled your fist.
right. You see how I bought my fist up? I ain't got no hands to throw. But Kalu and I, we've been married for 18 years in November. Praise the Lord. Funny story. So, I ain't even gonna go there about how we met, but nevertheless, we were met and married within, I think, a year. Yeah, I think we got engaged in 6 months, and we got married maybe 6 months after that, and have been married ever since. Now, marriage ain't always been as great as it is. Come on now, hello, somebody. Two people merging together, but I think for us, what we realized was that marriage was not a contract, and I think sometimes
What you mean?
people enter into marriage because let's be real, it's hard out here in this world today with the money that we make, with the things that are going up. Sometimes people enter into the marriage thinking contractually, like, okay, yeah, I like this person, I may even love this person a little bit, but I know that together we can build this, we can do that, we can, making it like a contract thing. People also think that marriage is 50-50. It ain't. Marriage is 100-100. And even if your spouse ain't giving 100, you have to do your job. Because there may be some times where your spouse can't give 100%. And there may be times where you can't give 100%. But somebody got to be giving 100%. Marriage is a covenant. It's an agreement with the Lord. The Bible tells us that the threefold cord is not easily broken. And so you need God to sustain your marriage. Now, don't look at me thinking, oh, her marriage is perfect, baby. I never use the word divorce out loud, but in my mind, I use that word so many times. I just felt like it would be better. And it wasn't that, I mean, we had a whole lot of going on. It was just that two personalities We wanted two different things. We were two people trying to learn to be unified and one in the spirit, or one in doing everything that we did. And he Kalu, I loved him. I do. But we have to realize that sometimes love is not enough. You need respect. You need honor. You need loyalty. You need all of those things, communication, to keep a marriage. And I think we love the glamour of what marriage looks like. But the process of growing a healthy, sustainable marriage, it takes work. And so, yeah, marriage ain't, Lacey Hughes said, life for me ain't been no crystal stair. Marriage for me ain't been no crystal stair. But even the broken pieces, we were able together to put them back together and make it whole. And so it's about a God thing. I know that Kalu was God's choice for me. I wholeheartedly, I believe that. And I definitely know I was God's choice for him.
Clock it.
Favor of the Lord is upon him because he married me. But yeah, and so being married, being friends outside of just having that love, because sometimes I tell people, you don't fall in love, because you can fall in it and you can fall out. You have to learn to grow in love. Love is growth. Love is maturing together. Love is messing up and being able to come back and be like, yo, being honest, being raw, being vulnerable. And we had to grow to that place. For us, we had to really grow and get there. Now, do we always agree now? Mm-mm. Do he get on my nerves? And I purposely get on his, because I know he gonna see this. Yes, I do. But I still love him, and he still loves me. Even the things I can't stand about him, I'm starting to love. But Kalu, I heard one of my mentors say that Kalu covers me. He doesn't cap me. He don't put a cap on me, but he covers me. And that's what we should do for one another. We should love each other, cover, but not cap each other. Learn to be able to grow with each other.
Then that's a real good segue into as we begin to wrap the show up.
Yes, because we'll talk forever.
Forever and ever and ever. Y'all, one time me and Pastor Shanell was on the phone for at least 4 hours, just talking. I don't even know what we was talking about.
I did. You was trying to tell me what to do. Tell me that. Yes, he did. That's why we're doing this right here, because you really need to do this. You really, y'all, I'm so uncomfortable. Like, this chair is cute. I'm uncomfortable. Like, I literally just want to be in here, like, just, but I'm doing it. I am getting out of the boat. Thank you for that prophetic word, Lady A. I'm getting out of the boat.
Okay. So I think you kind of gave like a brief snapshot of how to be restored, what to expect during restoration. But how can people find you, or where can people find you, so that way they can watch the show, they can listen to the show, they can share it? What's your social handles? What's the date of the conference? Like all the above as we begin to wrap the show up.
Now, he gonna ask me all these questions talking about what's my social handles, like I know. I think on Facebook, I'm Pastor Shanell, and I think on Instagram, I'm Pastor Shanell. You can also check out Recal Woman on Instagram. And I'm gonna make it easy. Go to www.therecalibratedwoman.org, and it'll all come up right there. Okay? Because listen, even on Facebook, he done pull me out of because I'm just like, listen, I need help. It got me posting and doing all of that kind of stuff. Nevertheless, but our conference is April the 16th through the 19th, 2026. And we're going to have a time, okay? We have 2 powerful nights of restoration worship with Lady Maxine Kershaw on that Thursday and Lady Ashley on that Friday. We have day sessions this year. The Restoration Room will happen on Friday, and then we have the Restoration Collective on Saturday. So you want to be in the room. You want to be restored. So go grab your ticket today at www.therecalibratedwoman.org. I'm telling you, this conference is not just another conference, but this will be a moment of restoration, a moment for you to pivot, a moment for you to be recalibrated and restored. Is that good?
That was great. That was excellent. And we thank you, Father.
Listen, y'all, I'm real silly, okay? So if y'all watching this show and you looking for somebody to be real serious, I'm just telling you, I'm a little quirky like that. But I just want to say to every woman out there that is searching for answers, that is looking, just know that God has your best interest at heart, and nobody can outbeat you being you. So learn. That's one thing that I had to learn, and I'm still learning, is to just allow the Lord to lead me and be confident in where he is leading me and what he is telling me to do. So I hope that you've enjoyed this first episode of Recalibrated Conversations. There are so many more to come. Listen, he got me behind this camera. There are so many more to come. Some of you gonna laugh the whole time. Some of you might cry. Some of you might turn off and like, I don't want to hear that because it's probably convicting. But I want you to stay tuned. Look us up on YouTube, The Recalibrated Woman, and come and join us at our conference, April 16th through the 19th.